Today we'll talk about the international health. The international health, when I talk about, I'll talk about the organization with regard to your international health. The first most important organization which we talk about is your WHO. WHO stands for your World Health Organization. This is the most important organizations of all. Then you have the Red Cross, International Red Cross Organization. Then you have the International Labour Organization, ILO. You have UNICEF. Initially, UNICEF was a United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. United Nations International Children Emergency Fund. Now in 1953, it was not only engaged with emergency, so it was now named as United Nations Children Fund. But because it started with UNICEF, this name is being preserved, but now it is basically known as United Nations Children Fund. Then you have United Nations Development Program, UNDP. United Nations Development Program. Now talk about the headquarters. The first three, the WHO, Red Cross, ILO, they have in Geneva in Switzerland. Geneva and Switzerland. The first three, your WHO, Red Cross and ILO. UNDP and UNICEF, they have organization in New York. So New York. Then you have one other organization, Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. This is in Rome, Italy. So this is in Rome, Italy में this is Food and Agriculture Organization. अब एक एक के बारे में we study one by one in each one of them. The two important things, first is your birth. Birth actually in San Francisco, there was a conference which there had many nations, but two nations, the Brazil and the China, proposed for an organization which was looking after for the health. So this was in 1945. Then after that there was drafting of the constitution. This held in 1946. This was in 46, and there were 51 members which participated for the drafting in. But the most important which is asked is established. When this was established in 7th of April 1948. That is why you have the 7th April as World Health Day. We have so many themes every year. Now, the World Health Organization, this is the history behind the World Health Organization, and this is unique specialized organization. This is a unique specialized organization which has its own constitution, governing body and membership. Own constitution, membership and its own governing bodies. This has everything its own independent. Now what governing body, then it has even its own budgeting also. Then we talk about the preamble of WHO. This is more important one, preamble, because preamble talks about the definition of health. This is the most important. This talks about the definition of the health was by the preamble of the constitution, and then it has government responsibility, and then it talks about the government responsibility, then it talks about health as a universal responsibility, and this also talks about the child health to be the most important. most important. This is why you have universal immunization and program and everything coming in. This is the child health is of most paramount importance. Now we talk about the membership. Now membership is open to all countries. Membership is open to all countries. Initially it had 56 members talking in 1948. Today it has 194 members and 2 associate members. When I say associate members, these associate members do not have the voting power. These all have the voting power. So 194 members have the voting powers, whereas 2 associate members do not have the voting powers. All the countries of this WHO are a part of UN also, except only one country which is a part of WHO but is not a part of UN. It's Switzerland. Switzerland is one country which though is a part of WHO, but it is not a part of. So Switzerland is not a part of UN, though it is a part of WHO. So we move further. We talk about the functions of WHO. The functions of WHO. The functions of WHO in case of specific diseases. When I talk about specific disease, it talks even of non-communicable disease, and it talks about your communicable diseases. And then in talking about the communicable and non-communicable diseases, and it talks about the expanded program of immunization is also coming under this program. Now it also develops the database for these diseases, databases for diseases. So the database of the diseases and even statistically, so that when this you have epidemic mounting up or you do not have epidemic mounting up, because you have the entire database here which tells how many cases of particular diseases are present and how they are increasing and decreasing every year. Now you have the other thing, the development of comprehensive health services. The development of comprehensive services, comprehensive health services. 2 things are very important. First is the primary health, which they talk about, and the second is your appropriate use of the technology. So this is when they talk about the comprehensive health services. The primary it became very important. Then we have family health services, MCH services, mother and child health services, where you talk about nutrition and every other things. Now now you talk about the MCH services, then you have something called as the health statistics and biomedical research. The health statistics and biomedical research. It publishes quarterly and yearly publication every year in respect of your diseases. Now it talks about, even also when we talk about the tropical diseases, it talks about the another important question which comes up. It talks about the tropical diseases. The tropical diseases, there are 6 tropical diseases which WHO focuses on. Tropical diseases. Though it talks about other diseases also, but there are 6 tropical diseases which WHO basically focuses on. These 5 diseases are malaria, schistosomiasis, trypanosomiasis, malaria, schistosomiasis, trypanosomiasis, malaria, schistosomiasis, trypanosomiasis, filaria, leprosy, and one more disease, malaria, schistosomiasis, trypanosomiasis, filaria, leprosy, leishmaniasis. Leishmaniasis. So these are the 6 diseases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 6 diseases which WHO targeted and functions of. Now we talk about the structure of WHO. The structure of WHO has the World Health Assembly, the Executive Board, and the Secretariat. The three important things you have: World Health Assembly, the Secretariat, and the Executive Board. The World Health Assembly is the most important, the supreme body, and this is the World Health Assembly is supreme body. All the decisions are being about rules and regulations are to be taken by the World Health Assembly. This assembly meets every year in May. Mainly at headquarters. It can even meet at some other state, but most of the time it meets at the headquarters. So all the policy matters and the appointment of the Director General, decision making, and the appointment of your Director General. This is taken over by the World Health Assembly. Now, talking about the electing of the members, which stands for these members. There are 34 members here, but these members are elected by World Health Assembly. These members are being elected by these, and you need to have at least 3 members from different regions. There are 6 regions, but at least 3 members from each region has to be there. So whatever policy making, this executive board implements it. But one situation such as emergency situation like this has power to take a decision in epidemics, but not in the policy matter regarding the how to work out the emergency situation. Now coming down to Secretariat, this is headed by the director. This is headed by the Director General Chief, and you have another 5 directors. So this is about the structure of your WHO. Now we talk about one more important organization. This is UNICEF. UNICEF stands for, I've already talked about, United Nations International Children Emergency Fund, whereas now today it is only known as United Nations Children Fund. I have already said the headquarters is in New York. The most important part of UNICEF, it talks about the children, and it talks about the children's welfare. Now it had a campaign known as Gobi campaign. Now this Gobi campaign has extended into FFF, Gobi FFF campaign. Now what does this Gobi FFF campaign stands for? G stands for growth monitoring. It stands for oral rehydrations. It talks about your breastfeeding. It talks about your immunization program. It talks about the female education. It talks about the family space thing, the female education, the family spacing, and it talks about the food supplements. It talks about the food supplementation. The food supplementation. That is why you see DPT and BCG was first in India, was under the spearheaded by UNICEF, which held. There are other establishment of different immunizations. Then whatever ORAS free you get, this is under by UNICEF. Now this, because this female has become, that is why they even have according to this. And when we say food supplementation, which again talks about, because of the blindness, they talk about the vitamin A supplementation program. And then for goiter, they have iodine fortification program. iodine fortification program. This is where UNICEF is playing so. So we see vitamin A, iodine coming, female education coming. So it was not only the children with regard to their health, this is also with regard to the education, the normal, non-formal, formal education, and also about the food supplementation. So they are coming as together what is required for the child development, whether it is immunization, whether it is growth monitoring, whether it is education, or whether it is food supplementation.